Hi everyone, it's Audrey and welcome back to Chapter and Converse. Today I'm going to be doing a book tag, and it's the Do I Have That book tag. Now this was an original tag created by Keeping Tabs, but I actually saw it on Bookpile's channel, and she's a new booktuber. She did the combo newbie tag and then the Do I Have That book tag. So if you haven't checked her out, check her out. I'll link both of the videos down below. And I thought this would just be something fun to do. I haven't done a book tag before, and I thought kind of what a fun way to just do a video and to kind of run around and see what I have going on here. So there's 20 tags or challenges, I guess, and some people videotape themselves actually searching their bookshelf for things. Now I didn't do that because I have bookshelves in 3 different places, and the idea of trying to do it vlog style, I thought it was basically going to be like the Blair Witch Project and people were going to be getting really sick by it. But I did time myself, so I would like to say I did it quickly, but I didn't. So here's the shame game. 15 minutes, 9 seconds, and some change. I would like to blame this on the fact that I was running from room to room, but the biggest chunk of time was lost looking for one particular tag, challenge, which I didn't even have. And also my bookshelves are not quite that well organized, so there was a lot of moving things around. So I'll shut up with the excuses and let's just get on with it. First challenge, do you have a book with deckled edges? And I did. Lie to Me by J.T. Ellison. So there they are. You can see them, proofs in the pudding. Have that one. Number 2, do you have a book with 3 or more people on the cover? I do. This is The Last Chance Saloon by Marian Keyes. This is sort of a chick lit, people, friends in their 30s kind of coming to terms with life at that time. I read this a long time ago, kind of when I first got it, and I had talked about Marian Keyes in another video of mine. I just adore her, and I have her new book to read, and I think I'm actually going to go back and start to revisit some of her older books because they were just great and just made me so happy. So challenge number 2, done. Number 3, do you have a book based on another fictional story? So a retelling, and I happen to have a brand new one, Alice by Christina Henry, which is based on Alice in Wonderland. So this is going to show up in my second book outlet haul, which I'm not sure what order these videos are going to wind up going up in, but this is a retelling of Alice in Wonderland, which I also haven't read, but I bought that too. So I'm excited. This kind of randomly came across when I was searching for other books on Book Outlet, and I'm excited to get into this one. Next question, do you have a book with a title 10 letters long? This is another J.T. Ellison, and this is No One Knows, and I just got this one, so I haven't read it yet, but I'm excited to get into it because I really loved the first J.T. Ellison I wrote. So No One Knows, 10, done. Number 5, do you have a book with a title that starts and ends with the same letters? I did, and that's Every Last Lie by Mary Kubica. I haven't read this one either. I got it on like the crazy discount rack at Barnes & Noble, so 50 off and another 10 off as a member. I'm really hoping that's not a bad sign, but I did enjoy her other books. I haven't read them all, so I will get into this at some stage, but for now, it just satisfied one of the challenges. Question number 6, do you have a Mass Market Paperback? I have a bunch of Mass Market Paperbacks because that's what I used to buy, and I didn't get rid of some of them because they're kind of classics to me. So on top was John Grisham, A Time to Kill. That's the one I picked. This was his first. I read this 100 years ago. Oh geez. It's 100 years ago because this is stationery from the first real job I ever had. So that's how long it's been since I've read this one. But here you go, Mass Market Paperback. Number 7, do you have a book written by an author using a pen name? I have a couple, but the one that I picked is Final Girls by Riley Sager, mostly because it was the first one I saw. I did not know who Riley Sager was, but I saw him at Thriller Fest on a panel, and he was talking about this book, and he was talking about his new book at the time, and one of the first things he said was how like he wasn't actually Riley Sager, which I thought was really fascinating. He also was not like, oh, by the way, like my name is Bob or something. I mean, his table tent said Riley Sager on it. So I did read this book over the summer. It was so good. Such a fan. I haven't read his newest one. I think it's The Last Time I Lied. I think that's what it is. So it's on my list to read, but I haven't picked it up yet. But this was terrific. The final girls are the girls who, in slasher movies, are the ones who survive. And this is a story about 3 girls who have all survived different massacre-ish type things. And they get brought together because something terrible happens. So, bum bum bum. Great one. Number 8, do you have a book with a character's name in the title? I do. What Alice Forgot by Leanne Moriarty. I have not read this yet, so I've read a few of her books. I'm excited to read this one. I hear so many great things about it, and I have no good reason for why I haven't read it other than just I've had so many other books that I've just been reading, but this is going to be something I'm for sure going to read in 2019, and Alice, so there you go. Number 9, do you have a book with 2 maps in it? No, fail. I don't read like any kind of fantasy or anything. I have books that have 1 map in it, but that was it. So I did lose some time trying to look through that one. Number 10, do you have a book that was turned into a TV show? I had a few, but again, I went for the one that was the kind of on the top, and that's 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher. So I read this before the Netflix series. I really liked it. I liked the series also. It's dark, it's disturbing, there's triggers all over the place in this one. I can't imagine reading this as a teenager. Reading this as an adult was hard enough, but I thought the book was well done. I know there's all sorts of mixed bag reviews on these. I thought the show was really well done, but it is hard to read and it is hard to watch for sure, but I liked them. I liked them both. Number 11, do you have a book written by someone who's originally famous for something else, like a celebrity, athlete, politician, TV personality? So I had a bunch of books in this category, but the one that I wound up picking is Little Girl Lost by Drew Barrymore. And this was the first book that she wrote, and she's like 14 or 15 when she did this one. So it was when she was out of rehab for the first time. It's really interesting. It's a lot of it that's really sad about her mom and her relationship with her dad. But it's amazing, all these years later to see sort of how far she's come and how strong of a woman she is and all that she overcame. So reading this story and reading this from her perspective, and especially reading it kind of so raw at that age, is really good. So if you're a Drew Barrymore fan and you haven't read this, I think it's definitely worth a read. I did read her more recent book. I want to say it was called Wildflower. I unhauled that one. So it was fine. But you know how it is. You've got to make room on your shelf for things and you can't keep them all. But this was a really interesting one. So if you're a Drew Barrymore fan, I would definitely give this one a read. Number 12, do you have a book with a clock on the cover? This is the one that killed me. So I was convinced that Linda Fairstein's book, The Terminal, which is about Grand Central Terminal, had a picture of the station on the front, which is a giant clock. But the image on the front of the book is taken like at this angle of Grand Central, so you don't see the clock. So it's on the spine, but I felt like that was cheating, so I didn't pick it. And then this is where I literally went through basically every book on my shelf, and nothing has a clock on the cover. So big fail on this one for me. Number 13, do you have a poetry book? I have a few. 100 Best Poems of All Time. So I talked about the fact that I'm a writer and I was a journalism major and I took tons of English classes and all of that good stuff. So my mom was always buying me a lot of poetry books, and this is one of the many that I have. Number 14, do you have a book with an award stamp on it? I do. And that is Defending Jacob by William Landay, and it's the Barnes & oh crap. It's Barnes & Noble Recommends. That's not a stamp. I haven't even read this book, which is terrible because I bought the hardcover like 100 years ago when it came out, and now it's not even see, misleading. So I don't know, maybe I do have a book with a stamp on it, but we're just gonna call that one a fail. Number 15, here's another fail. Do you have a book written by an author with the same initials as you? I don't. Apparently nobody has the initials AE, so scoured my entire bookshelf, scoured all my writing books, nothing. Number 16, do you have a book of short stories? Kind of. This one might feel like a cheat for me. This is the Complete Handbook of Novel Writing, so this is a bunch of short pieces by famous authors, I think this totally counts. I don't have a fiction book of short stories, but they're 77 pieces, and it's author advice on inspiration, on plot and structure, on the writing process itself, style and craft, how to get started, how to edit. There's interviews, there's advice on publishing. So you can call BS on this if you want to, but I'm going to count this as a book, especially since I just epically failed on the last one. Number 17. Do you have a book that is between 500 and 510 pages long? Yes, and I finished this yesterday. All These Beautiful Strangers, 504. I don't want to show you because I don't want to show you like the last sentence because that'll be terrible. Beautiful, amazing pages. This book, I'm still like high off of how much I loved this book. I am obsessed. If you haven't read this, holy crap, pick it up. And if you have, let me know down below so we can talk about it, because my God, I loved this book. Loved, obsessed, definitely top 10 of the year. This is amazing. Number 18, do you have a book that was turned into a movie? I do. I have a lot of books that were turned into movies, but the one that I wound up picking was The Devil Wears Prada by Lauren Weisberger. Weisberger. This was such a fun book. I read it when it first came out. Like, this is, you can see how old this is by the old Barnes & Noble like member sticker and stuff on it. Dating myself with this challenge here, but I thought this was such a fun book. I thought this was such a fun movie. I thought it was really well done. I will probably always say that the book is better than the movie, but it was a fun movie. And this is one that I definitely want to reread. I think it would just be fun. I talked about this in another video that I don't know if it's gone up yet, but one of my goals for 2019 is to pick 12 books that were kind of meaningful to me or kind of game-changing, and to reread them. And for me, this is a book, the first writers group I ever joined, this was recommended to me through that group, and it was kind of one of those moments where I was surrounded by people who had the same interests as me and the same excitement about books as I had, and I will always kind of affectionately think about that anytime I think about this book. Number 19 is another big fail. Do you have a graphic novel? I don't. I have none. I have no interest in them. Nope. And the last one, number 20, do you have a book written by 2 or more authors? And I do. And this almost could have gotten sucked into the pen name one. And that's The Last Mrs. Parrish by Liv Constantine. So Liv Constantine is a pen name for the 2 sisters who wrote this book. And if you're going to ask me, Lynn Constantine and Valerie Constantine are the 2 sisters. And ironically enough, they were on the same Thriller Fest panel where Riley Sager was, and it wasn't like a pen name panel or anything. It was about, you know, people who write thrillers. So there's the irony in that one, or I don't know. Is that ironic? No, it's coincidence. But anyway, here's my 2 authors, and I read this year. I really liked it. So there were a couple things that I was a little ho-hum on, but as a whole, I liked it. I thought it was a well-done book. I read through it quickly. I enjoyed sort of the dark, sinister nature of the women in this book. I didn't love the dark, sinister nature of the men in this book. So if you read it, you know what I'm saying. If you didn't, read it, and then you'll know what I'm saying. And that does it for my Do I Have That Book tag. So originally, 15 minutes and 17 challenges. In actuality, 16 challenges, because somebody can't tell the difference between a Barnes & Noble Recommends sticker and an award sticker. I'm still really annoyed about this one, but I'm too lazy to just go back and see if I had something else, plus that's cheating. So there you have it. So 16 of them, not the end of the world. I did have a lot of fun doing it. It's the first time I've done a tag video, so this was fun, just kind of running around and seeing what I had. Knocked over a bunch of books in the process, but the world is turning and everyone's gonna be okay, even me with my mistake over there. So let me know if you've done this tag, and if you are interested in doing it, boom, consider yourself tagged, but let me know down below if you're gonna do it so I can check your video out also. Thank you for spending some time with me today. Hopefully this gave you a little bit of a laugh at my expense. That's totally cool. And I will see you guys back here soon. Bye.